Hey there, 90s family, and welcome back to the Nostalgia Vault. You know that feeling when you wake up on a crisp December morning, the house is quiet, and you rush to the window to see that thick, heavy blanket of snow covering the neighborhood? The way those new, clear mini lights would twinkle through the frosted glass, reflecting off the tinsel and making your living room look like a perfectly framed shot from Home Alone. Today, we're traveling back to Christmas in the 1990s, when the Toys R Us Big Book was our Amazon, when a Friday night trip to Blockbuster was a sacred holiday ritual, and when December meant transforming our homes into a winter wonderland with flannel ribbons and country chic decor. So, grab your hot chocolate, the kind with those tiny marshmallows that never quite melt, settle into your favorite beanbag chair or a cozy spot by the radiator, and let's remember what Christmas was like when magic wasn't just a digital download, but something you could actually hold in your hands. The pilgrimage to Toys R Us in the Great American Mall. In the 90s, the mall wasn't just a place to shop, it was a living, breathing holiday experience. Do you remember the heavy glass doors swinging open and being immediately enveloped by the scent of cinnamon from Cinnabon, and the echoes of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You drifting from every storefront? The crown jewel was always Toys R Us. Those towering aisles were a labyrinth of neon-colored boxes that made every child feel like they had discovered a treasure trove. We didn't just browse a screen, we touched the toys, felt the cold condensation on the window displays, and waited in agonizingly long lines just for 30 seconds on Santa's lap. It was a family expedition where handwritten wish lists were clutched like sacred scrolls. And the atmosphere was thick with a kind of communal electricity you just can't find online today. The must-have toy frenzy from Elmo to Furby. The 90s were the era of the legendary, flat-out insane toy craze. Remember 1996 when the nation went collectively mad for Tickle Me Elmo? Or the eerie, wide-eyed arrival of the Furby in 1998? Without the convenience of Amazon pre-orders, our parents had to become weekend warriors. They'd wake up at 3 a.m., standing in the biting December frost outside a KB Toys or Target, sometimes engaging in polite or not-so-polite scuffles over the last box on the shelf. The magic wasn't just in the toy itself, but in knowing the Herculean effort it took to get it there. Seeing Elmo's manic shake or hearing Furby's first garbled words under the tree was a victory trophy for parents, a tangible symbol of their dedication to making our childhood dreams come true. Blockbuster nights and the VHS ritual. Before Netflix made everything instant, the family movie night started with a ritualistic trip to Blockbuster. Walking through those aisles with the iconic blue and yellow signs was an essential part of the holiday spirit. The whole family would roam the new releases section, debating between Home Alone, The Santa Claus, or the gothic whimsy of The Nightmare Before Christmas. There was a specific weight to a VHS box, a physical promise of entertainment. We'd rush home, pop the tape in, and pray the previous renter hadn't trashed the tape. Snuggling under a heavy quilt with a bowl of buttery popcorn, watching the tracking lines settle on the screen, created a slow, intentional experience. And of course, we all remembered the golden rule. Be kind, rewind. A final polite gesture before the holiday ended. The cinematic architecture of the 90s Christmas. The 1990s didn't just give us movies, it gave us the look of Christmas. Kevin McAllister's red brick Chicago fortress in Home Alone became the gold standard for holiday cozy. We saw ourselves in his bravery and his mischievous joy. Then there was Arnold Schwarzenegger's frantic hunt for a Turbo Man doll in Jingle All the Way, which perfectly mirrored the chaotic consumer reality of our own lives. These films provided a visual vocabulary for the decade. The warm glow of oversized incandescent bulbs, the lush orchestral scores of John Williams, and the inevitable happy ending that felt earned. Every time those opening credits rolled on our bulky tube TVs, we weren't just watching a story. We were stepping into a world where family was everything, and holiday miracles were always just around the corner. Hand-signed cards and the mail day magic. In the 90s, the mailbox was a portal to the outside world. Long before the season's greetings mass email or quick Facebook tag, we had the mail day excitement. Every afternoon in December, the mailbox would be stuffed with thick, cream-colored envelopes, often dusted with stray glitter. Mothers would spend entire evenings at the kitchen table, pens in hand, writing long Christmas newsletters that updated distant relatives on the year's milestones. These cards weren't just paper, they were artifacts of connection. We would display them proudly on the fireplace mantel or tape them around the doorframe, turning our homes into a gallery of smiling faces and handwritten love. It reminded us that we were part of a vast, tangible network of friends and family, all connected by the slow, beautiful pace of the U.S. Postal Service. The dawn of portable joy, Game Boy, and Discman. Under a 90s Christmas tree, the most coveted boxes were the small, rectangular ones. That was the unmistakable shape of a Game Boy Color, perhaps in that iconic, atomic purple transparent plastic, or a Sony Discman with electronic shock protection. These gifts signaled the start of a new era. Instead of the sound of jingle bells, the house would be filled with the ping of a Nintendo startup or the whirring of a CD spinning to life. We'd spend hours huddled by the window, catching the dim winter sunlight on our non-backlit screens to play Pokémon Red, or sharing a single pair of headphones with a sibling to listen to the latest NSYNC holiday album. Technology back then didn't isolate us. It was a novelty to be shared, a way to compare high scores and exchange CDs while the snow fell outside. 90s country chic and the Great Light Transition. The 90s had a very specific aesthetic, a mix of rustic warmth and burgeoning elegance. This was the era of the country chic Christmas. Think oversized plaid ribbons, grapevine wreaths, and hand-painted ceramic angels. It was also the decade where we saw a massive shift from the giant, hot-to-the-touch C9 colorful bulbs of the 80s to the elegant, clear mini lights. These tiny white lights turned every living room into a shimmering fairyland. Helping Dad untangle those green wires was a rite of passage, often taking all afternoon on the garage floor. But when the switch was finally flipped and the tree bummed with a soft, sophisticated glow, the house felt like a sanctuary. A cozy, well-lit fortress against the dark winter nights of the late 20th century. The Kodak moment and the 1-hour photo wait. One of the most beautiful things about a 90s Christmas was the delay of gratification. We captured our memories on 35 mm film, often using those bright yellow Kodak disposable cameras. You couldn't check the screen to see if you looked good. You couldn't delete a photo of your brother making a face. You had 24 or 36 exposures, and every click of the shutter felt permanent. The real magic happened a few days after New Year's, when we'd take the rolls to the 1-hour photo lab at CVS. The anticipation of holding that stack of glossy prints was a holiday event in itself. Some were blurry, some had red eye, but they were our real, unedited lives, perfectly preserved in a way that a digital file on a cloud server will never replicate. The golden age of the sitcom Christmas special. In the 90s, the television was the fireplace we all gathered around, and the Christmas special was a national event. There was no watching it later on demand. The whole country sat down at the same time to see the Tanners on Full House navigate a blizzard, or the Friends gang deal with the holiday armadillo. These characters felt like our own neighbors. Their televised living rooms, decorated with the same 90s kitsch we had in ours, made us feel like our holiday struggles. The burnt turkeys, the eccentric uncles, the gift mishaps were universal and okay. These episodes wrapped us in a blanket of scripted comfort, teaching us lessons about togetherness and forgiveness that stayed with us long after the VCR stopped recording. Velvet dresses, tartan skirts, and the ugly sweater roots. If you look at any family photo from a 1995 Christmas, you'll see a specific uniform. Mothers and teachers wore those wonderfully ornate sweaters with embroidered snowmen and beaded wreaths, the sincere ancestors of today's ugly Christmas sweater. Children were often dressed in stiff velvet dresses with lace collars or itchy tartan wool skirts. There was a sense of Sunday best that applied to Christmas dinner. Even if we complained about the bow being too tight or the wool being too scratchy, there was something special about the effort. It turned an ordinary day into a grand occasion. We were dressing up for each other, honoring the tradition, and creating a colorful, textured tableau of a decade that was as vibrant and heartfelt as the people who lived through it.